नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री श्री नरसिंह चतुर्दशी महावत्सव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे बोल. All glories to Assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. On this occasion, auspicious occasion of Narasimha Caturdasi, I would like to welcome all of you to Kishore Kishori's home. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and be a part of our celebrations. Today is a very, very special day. I would like to recognize the sponsors for the festival. We have Pranav Prabhu, Madhumangal Prabhu and Premisa Mataji and Gareshwi Radha Mataji. They have contributed and sponsored different items today for our festival. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Keshav Kishore Prabhu. He is always very tirelessly arranging the parking at the bank and also at the church, which, we simply go and park our cars, but all the hard work to get those parking is done by Keshav Kishore Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. On this special occasion, we have two very distinguished guest speakers. The third guest, Kripamoya Prabhu, has not been able to join us. He's here for a wedding, but we were expecting him to join, but there are some issues and he's not able to come for the program. But we have His Holiness Romapada Maharaj. Let's welcome him with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Maharaj doesn't need any introduction. We all know him very well. He has been involved in ISKCON for more than 50 years and preaching all over the world, specifically in North America. He goes to Asia, all over Asia, and also he has been teaching in different universities in America, India, and in Europe as well. The other distinguished guest we have is Hariparasad Prabhu. Hariparasad Prabhu. Let's welcome him also with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol! He is a visitor from India, but he is not new to Chicago. We have had the pleasure of listening to him earlier as well. He is a scholar in Sanskrit and also on the ISKCON's Shastrik Advisory Council. He has been in ISKCON since 2002. So he specializes in speaking on he gives commentaries and speaks about the teachings of 6 Goswamis. But today the topic will be related to Narasimha Caturdasi. So thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you, Prabhu, for being here today. And all of us, please switch off your cell phones and pay attention to what the speakers say. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prasadam will be to go in boxes and it will be served at 8 p.m. Thank you.
He's going to also do with PowerPoint. So if you want to see the screen, come this way. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the past, there have been a number of occasions when there are multiple persons here speaking. I remember one time Swarup Damodar Maharaj was here and there were 4 sannyasis, and he had never done anything like that before. He was like, how's this going to work? But it was really nice, and I was really looking forward to a triple header tonight, but Kripamoya Prabhu somehow exhausted, I don't know, jet lag or something, and he's not with us. So, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm a little disappointed, but we'll try to give you some nice katha about Nrsingadev, and of course, speaking about Nrsingadev without Prahlad Maharaj is incomplete, right? One of the passages in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I remember the first time reading, there's a build-up, without going through the first 6 chapters of Canto 1, where the message is the way of achieving spiritual perfection is through Krishna Katha. And the beginning part of chapter 7, Narada instructs Vyas, enter into samadhi, the realization that you have, share that, expand Srimad Bhagavatam that way, so he does. And then the sages of Naimisharanya say, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Katha. So what does Sutta Goswami speak about? He speaks about the Pandavas. Now they asked for Krishna Katha, and he's speaking about the Pandavas. Maybe he didn't hear. He heard. Because speaking about the Pandavas is speaking about Krishna. Speaking about Prahlad Maharaj is speaking about Lord Nrsingadev. Speaking about the pure devotee of the Lord is especially pleasing, we might say even more pleasing to the Lord. And that's our lives, to please the Supreme Lord somehow. So I thought I would speak something about Prahlad Maharaj, and he's going to speak something, looks like a nice picture of Lord Nrsingadev. Okay, Prahlad he's a Nrsinga Bhakta, right? He's a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev. And Lord Nrsingadev resides where? Eternally, Lord Nrsingadev resides where? He resides in Vaikuntha. It's one of the Vaikuntha planets. Where does a devotee of Lord Nrsingadev go? The devotee of Lord Nrsingadev goes to Nrsinga's abode. That's what we're going to hear. That's what the personality Godhead assures Prahlad. Yet, listen carefully, 4 times in that whole 7th canto section, explicitly the term Krishna is used, where Prahlad is a devotee of Krishna. Prahlad is a devotee of Krishna, and yet it's Lord Nrsingadev that appears and protects him. Do you hear a contradiction? How to resolve contradictions? You keep asking the question, and you inquire from our acharyas, and you'll find answers. When there's several answers. One answer is Nrsinga is an avatar of Krishna. So being a devotee of Krishna and worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev aren't contradictory. Do you know some ISKCON devotees who are Nrsimha Bhaktas? Do they have love for Krishna? Are they Nrsimha Bhaktas? Is there a contradiction? No contradiction. This is something I've heard from Hariparasad Prabhu at least 5 times in classes that I hear his YouTube classes regularly. If you're not listening, listen. He's a very accomplished speaker. So there's a nice verse in 3rd Canto, Chapter 7, where the Supreme Lord reciprocates with the particular desire. It's Brahma praying to the Lord Vishnu. He appears according to the mood of worship of the devotee. He appears exactly corresponding to their mood of worship. Wait a minute, he's a Krishna Bhakta, and here's Nrsimhadev. Well, the personality of Godhead appears in ways that are not contradictory to his devotee, Lord Brahma, who gave a certain benediction that said he couldn't be killed this way, that way, and the other way. And we know from the opulences, one of the opulences of Krishna, he's the best cheat. Of cheaters, he's the best. So Hiranyakashipu was trying to cheat him, and he out-cheated Hiranyakashipu by appearing in this wonderful form of Lord Nrsimhadev. And Prahlad understood this fierce feature of Lord Nrsimhadev was meant for Hiranyakashipu, and the soft feature of Lord Nrsimhadev was meant for Prahlad. He's not here with us. I'll just share something with you that Kripamoya, please come tomorrow night, because hopefully he'll be well enough. He'll speak tomorrow night also. No, he's going to be elsewhere tomorrow night. It's going to be the 2 of us again tomorrow. Those of you that haven't met him, come for the wedding. You'll meet him at the wedding. He said something, he held his hand up like this and said, Prabhupada's lecture, that Lord Nrsimhadev showed his claws for Hiranyakashipu, but the soft palm of his hand was for Prahlad, that he placed on his head. So he has these 2 features. So Prahlad is an Nityasiddha. We'll hear a little bit about how to understand. In accepting this mode of activity, there is no need for material qualifications. 3 things. Disciplic succession, he heard from Narada. He is teaching, and therefore, if you take shelter of him, you can understand the mode of spiritual life. And 3rd, there's no material qualification necessary. In case you feel you're not so qualified, no worries. Just follow Prahlad, take shelter of him, and learn the ways of spiritual life, the mode of spiritual life. So I'm going to spend some time with chapter 10, particularly the first 10 verses. These are prayers of Prahlad to Nrsingadev. And I'm going to go quickly, but not so quickly because Kripamoya isn't here, so I can go a little longer. This is how the chapter, one of the verses from the chapter. Oh, my worshipable Lord, because the seed of lusty desire, which is the root cause of material existence, is within the core of everyone's heart. You have sent me to this material world to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee. So where did Prahlad come from? From the spiritual world. And he was sent by the Supreme Lord to this world because within the core of everyone's heart, there's material desire. Lusty desire, the desire to become the enjoyer of sense objects in the core of people's heart. Therefore, you've sent me to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee. Otherwise, oh my Lord, this is key. This is the first word of Prabhupada's translation is otherwise, my Lord, O Supreme Instructor of the entire world, you are so kind to your devotee that you could not induce him to do something unbeneficial for him. That's Prahlad coming into this world. He's protected. On the other hand, one who desires some material benefit in exchange for devotional service cannot be your pure devotee. Indeed, he is no better than a merchant who wants profit in exchange for service. Because previously there was this discussion, please take benediction. And I don't want benediction. No, the material kind of benediction. He has an attraction for his service and his shelter. He's going to pray for his pure devotee association. So the way of pure devotional service, he's teaching us, is not the mercantile or vanik, that's the word that's used in the verse. The merchant's mentality, when you do something to get something, that's material existence. And one may carry that conception of life into spiritual life, and I do something to get something. But Prahlad is not like that. He's not like that. And although he's come to this material world, and he's been in great danger, and the Lord has come to protect him and wants to give him some benediction, why would he send him here? To teach the way of pure devotional service. So that's what he's doing, teaching the way of pure devotional service. No exchange. Carries on. A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benedictions upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as master is not a pure master. That's a high bar. I mean, that's the way of pure devotional service. Now, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning of devotional service, there's I want, or I want, or I want, or I want. There's 4 kinds of I wants. And then pure devotional service is to go beyond I want. Whoops. Something's wrong with the settings. It keeps moving. But he's declaring, between us, there's nothing else. You're the master, I'm the servant, there's nothing else between us. O Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. That's the mode of spiritual life, or the mode of pure devotional service, the way of pure devotional service. So we're not there. but we have someone to take shelter of and see the example of that he's setting for us and cling to the lotus feet of such exalted personalities and pray for the mercy of such exalted personalities and keep striving in that direction. So that's verse 6. Here's verse 7. O my Lord, best of the giver of benedictions, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. Somebody was asking during a class today, when I go to the temple, you've been speaking so much about the Lord Nrsingadev's appearance and the benedictions upon Prahlad. What's a suitable prayer to request? So here's one. My answer was, what's in your heart? But if you can align your heart to that of a pure devotee, and even can say, I'm not there yet, but I'd like to get there. And please assist me to get there because my heart is infested with other things than pure devotion desires. It's the cultivation. This is Canto 7. Some of you may like Canto 5, Chapter 18. This is the prayers of the residents of Jambudweep to the personality of Godhead. One section is in Hariparasad. What's Hariparasad? Hariparasad is one of the 9 varshas in Jambudweep. What's Jambudweep? Jambudweep is the central of 7 islands, atop of which there's a pretty amazing golden mountain that's upside down, or it's narrower at the bottom and wider at the top. Have you ever seen a mountain like that? And it's completely golden. And some portion of that golden mountain protrudes down below Bhumandala. So in the whole plain of Bhumandala, there's 7 rings of islands, and at the center is Jambudweep, and it has 9 varshas. And one of those 9 varshas is Hariparasad. And that's where Prahlad is, in Hariparasad, offering prayers to the personality of Godhead. And there's 2 very nice prayers in that chapter. Here's one of those 2. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsingadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our, plural, demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. Bahir Nishingo Hridaye Nishingo, right? He's within and he's without. Bahir Nishingo Hridaye Nishingo. So he's addressing him as if he's without, and he's addressing him, please appear within our hearts. And with your claws and teeth that are like thunderbolts, take away this affinity for enjoying matter. Very strong. Very strong. It's the bondage that brings us and the bondage that keeps us. That affinity for enjoying matter, enjoying independently, enjoying Krishna's property as if it's our property, or at least we want to make it our property. That's the God project. Shiva Maharaj calls it the God project. We want to be the enjoyer of God's property. Please take that away. If you all want to give me a benediction, take that tendency away. He doesn't have it. He's a pure devotee. Pure devotees speak not because it's cute, but they feel themselves not qualified like that. Someday, maybe, we'll become a little advanced in Krishna consciousness. May you all become a little advanced in Krishna consciousness, or significantly advanced in Krishna consciousness. And be ready that something will happen. There's a strong transcendental sense of humility that awakens, and you feel, I'm far from the goal, and I'm not qualified, and how is it possible? But not despair, but therefore even stronger calling for mercy. It's really nice. Don't worry, it's really nice. To call for mercy is really nice, and to feel not qualified is really nice. It's not a negative emotion. It's a transcendental emotion. It can be, it should be, spiritually, innately it is. Feeling not qualified. Necessity of making even greater effort, and necessity of calling for the mercy. Prahlad is teaching us the way of pure devotional service. There's a nice passage in Brihat Bhagavatamrita where Sanatana Goswami is explaining in a purport, as Gopal Kumar goes further and further, his quality of humility gets stronger and stronger. And it's his own commentary. Humility awakens prema. And then he says, and conversely, prema awakens humility. They go together. They have a mutually causative relationship. So get ready to become advanced devotees by calling for mercy. Lord Nrsingadev is very merciful. He's very merciful. And he has the power to take all of those unwanted things from the heart, all the unwanted things, especially your favorite ones. He's very merciful. And when he takes them away, don't say ouch, just smile and say thank you. Because he's being merciful. And the next verse in this series, "Oh my Lord, when a human being is able to give up all the material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours." Now there's a nice explanation given by Prabhupada about how the Supreme Lord sees his devotee who is completely devoid of material affinity. Those who are completely devoid of material affinity, Krishna gives them everything. For those who have material attraction, Krishna withholds everything. Not everything, but withholds. He bestows upon, like Prabhupada explains, Maharaj Ambarish, Yudhisthira Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj. He gave him everything. He had no affinity. They're qualified. Our founder Acharya, he was given opulence unimaginable. Some of you may have seen that I'm spending a little more time because Kripamoy is not here. It's a nice Prabhupada story. Some of you know, at least are aware of Srinathji, industrialist, became a disciple of Prabhupada. It's a wonderful story how that happened. But there's an interview of him in one of the documentaries when he says, I'm a businessman. When I met Prabhupada, what businessmen do is I wanted to test where his weakness is. So I tested him. And I couldn't find a weakness. He wasn't greedy. He wasn't proud. He wasn't, this way, that way. There was no impurity in his heart. Therefore, he surrendered to him. I mean, it was an interesting procedure of how that happened, but he gave his life to him. Now, this is later in the chapter, after verse 10, Lord Nrsingadev says many things, including, I'm going to give you your father's kingdom, which was everything, and many other things he bestowed upon him, and said, those who follow your example will naturally become my pure devotees. Follow his example, Prabhus, so that you can become pure devotees. It's right in the Bhagavatam. You are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. Now, in the purport, there's a nice reference to Madhvacharya, who comments on this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, quoting Skanda Purana, of the 12 authorized devotees, the Mahajans, Prahlad Maharaj is understood to be the best example. He's the best of the best. Take shelter of Prahlad Maharaj. So what's the lesson? Just to repeat that something, you know Radhika Raman very well. So Radhika Raman is a wonderful devotee, Sanskrit scholar like Hariparasad. I'm sure they've had many exchanges together. In one of the seminars that I participated in, he was describing Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas. And one of the ways that he explained it, there's many ways to explain it, he, Jiva Goswami, did what anyone wants to do. They want to show that the teachings that I'm adhering to and taking shelter of, and the teacher that gave them are the highest. That's natural. Anyone wants to do that. So he had a strategy. His strategy was 1, 2, 3. It's really simple. The teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam are the highest. The teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the highest. Yet the greatest effort was the middle part, to indicate they're the same. So, the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the highest, and Srimad Bhagavatam's teachings are the highest. And our 6 Goswamis, following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they heard, particularly Rupa Goswami, heard extensively, directly from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he then, along with the other Goswamis, Nana Shastra Vacharanai Kanipino Saddharma Sangstapako, they studied extensively all the scriptures and extracted the essence. And the essence, the cream of the essence, is Srimad Bhagavatam. The cream of the essence is Srimad Bhagavatam. And here's Rupa Goswami extracting in one of his chief writings, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, an explanation of what bhakti is. Bhakti is where there's no other desire. Anya abhilasha shunyam. Anya abhilash shunya. Shunya means zippo, nothing. And abhilash is desire, and anya abhilash is other desires. Other desires are gone. That's Prahlad's teaching, the way of pure devotional service, and extracting from Prahlad's teachings and the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Rupa Goswami to guide us. And he gives this nice definition, 2 parts, what complete renunciation is and what incomplete renunciation is. The complete renunciation is this verse. How are we doing with time? I'll go quickly. I'm not going to detail this. because of time. But it's a nice, very important teaching. Vishaya means anasaktasya vishaya. Vishaya means, it's straight from Bhagavad Gita, sense gratification. Senses, sense objects, enjoying sense objects. Vishaya. Without any attachment to Vishaya, then you accept objects. How, in what way? According to suitability. Yatharham upayunjitaha. Nirbandha Krishna sambandhe. Those things that have their relationship with Krishna, you accept them and use them in relationship with Krishna. And by that yuktam, by that engagement, vairagya, that's complete. And the incomplete is that which is in relation to Hari, Hari sambandhi, vastuna, those things that are in relation to Hari, you give them up. Palgu vairagya. That's Rupa Goswami teaching what Prahlad Maharaj is teaching, saying that you've sent me here to this world to teach this. And he's teaching it. And our Goswamis are giving us the synopsis of those teachings, of course, expanded in their writings. And then the most glorious part of their writings is how that's done in Braja. But that's another class, another festival. This is the Narasimha Caturdasi. One more little statement. The story of Prahlad and Lord Nrsimhadev's appearing to protect him appears in many Puranas. There's quite a long list. And one of those Puranas, Brihat Nrsimha Purana, is mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas in relation to how to observe Nrsimha Caturdasi. No, excuse me, how to observe Ekadasi. How to observe Ekadasi. So there's a description in Brihat Nrsimha Purana where Prahlad asks Lord Nrsimhadev, how did I become so fortunate to get your association and etc., etc.? And then in Brihat Nrsimha Purana, he gives a nice history, which I'm going to only gloss over. The details are very nice. But in your past life, you, by mistake, you observed Ekadasi. There was a Brahmana and a Brahmani, and they had several children, and you were the oldest of the several children. The other children, the other four, were nice Brahmanas, and you were fallen. And in your fallen condition, you did fallen things, and you associated with a prostitute. And one day, there was a quarrel between you and the prostitute, and so you fasted. Many of you probably are fasting. You fasted. It was unintentional. He didn't even, anyway, he just was fasting. And it went all night. He couldn't sleep. She couldn't either. And because of that good act, you're Prahlad. You took birth in an unfortunate family, but your quality is very fortunate. And the Brahmani, she also got good fortune. She became an Apsara in her next life, and then went to the spiritual world after that. Very different story than you sent me to this world to teach the way of pure devotional service. But there's variegatedness. It's quite okay, because every time the personality of Godhead performs his activities and his devotees, there's some variegatedness. Prabhupada's way of saying this is variety is the mother of enjoyment. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So the Lord is an enjoyer, and he enjoys variety. So he does different things at different times. But there's a general theme that's followed. So I'm going to now entertain you briefly for about 4 minutes. There's a nice recording of a devotee reciting these prayers, kind of like a dramatic reading with some nice background music. We'll end with that and pass the microphone on. Hopefully technology is going to cooperate.
The saint Narad Muni continued. Although Prahlad Maharaj was only a boy, when he heard the benedictions offered by Lord Narasimha Dev, he considered them impediments on the path of devotional service. Thus, he smiled very mildly and spoke as follows. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because I was born in an atheistic family, I'm naturally attached to material enjoyment. Therefore, kindly do not tempt me with these illusions. I'm very much afraid of material conditions, and I desire to be liberated from materialistic life. It is for this reason that I have taken shelter of your lotus feet." Oh, my worshipable Lord, because the seed of lusty desires, which is the root cause of material existence, is within the core of everyone's heart, you have sent me to this material world to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee. Otherwise, O my Lord, O Supreme Instructor of the entire world, you are so kind to your devotee that you could not induce him to do something unbeneficial for him. On the other hand, one who desires some material benefit in exchange for devotional service cannot be a pure devotee. Indeed, he is no better than a merchant who wants profit in exchange for service. A servant who desires material profits from his master is certainly not a qualified servant or pure devotee. Similarly, a master who bestows benedictions upon his servant because of a desire to maintain a prestigious position as master is also not a pure master. Oh, my Lord, I am your unmotivated servant, and you are my eternal master. There is no need of our being anything other than master and servant. You are naturally my master, and I am naturally your servant. We have no other relationship. Oh, my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. Oh, my Lord, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the functions of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. Oh, my Lord, when a human being is able to give up all the material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours. Oh, my Lord, full of six opulences, O Supreme Person, O Supreme Soul, killer of all miseries, O Supreme Person in the form of a wonderful lion and man, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you.
Hare Krishna. My sincere thanks to His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj for this wonderful presentation on Sri Prahlad, who is the eternal Vaikunthavasi and also a wonderful devotee of not only Sri Narasimha Dev but Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself. Before speaking, I am reminded of a phrase from Shakespeare. Shakespeare once said, "Some people are born great, some attain greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. So, in today's assembly, we have personalities like Srila Prabhupada, who are born great. Since his very birth, he was great. Then there are personalities like Maharaj, who are not only born great, but have also attained greatness. And then there comes a person like me, upon whom greatness has been thrust. So I hope you will be able to tolerate me. But I would like to offer my pranams to Maharaj and all of you dear devotees. Dear devotees, today is Sri Narasimha Caturdasi, and I am in a temple which is most amazing, because this temple is called Shri. There's something strange about the name. In all other temples, Srimati Radharani's name comes first, except for this temple, Kishore Kishori, where the name of Kishore has come first and Kishori's name has come later. For a grammarian, this is a big question. But maybe Srila Prabhupada, whatever he has in his mind, he knows and Shri Krishna knows. So I pay my respectful obeisances to Shri Shri Kishore Kishori. Although my heart always says Kishori Kishore, but I have to do what Srila Prabhupada did. So my obeisances to Shri Shri Kishore Kishori. And today we'll try to see something about Sri Prahlad Maharaj. And as Maharaj correctly pointed out, his humility was one of the most pristine qualities that he had. And today I'll try to speak something about the confident humility of Maharaj Prahlad. Today is Narasimha Caturdasi, and today is a great opportunity to remember Lord Narasimha Dev. Sometimes we remember Narasimha Dev only after sitting in the car. So let that not happen. We should also remember Narasimha Dev outside the car and in situations where our life is not in danger. So today is a good day to remember Narasimha Dev. I'll begin with a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says, Prahlad Maharaj was a great soul, a Mahatma, and therefore he completely surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. He was confident that Krishna would give him protection under all circumstances. So I would like to speak something about Prahlad Maharaj's confidence. But before I speak upon this, I would like to point out that today we should not only give respect to Prahlad Maharaj, we should also give respect to another personality. Who is the other personality to whom we should give respect today? Narad Muni? No, yes, definitely. But today we should give respect to Shri Hiranyakashipu.
You want a slight change from automatic? No?
I'll have to connect Bluetooth. This is good. Okay. Because Hiranyakashipu, not only me but Shukdev Goswami also gives him respect. In the 7th canto, when Hiranyakashipu starts speaking for the first time, Shukdev Goswami says, and please repeat after me, Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha. Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha. What happened? Shri Prahlad Uvacha looks good. Shri Narad Uvacha looks, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha looks good. What is Shri Hiranyakashipu? What did Hiranyakashipu do to deserve Shri before his name? So our commentators explain this, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains the reason for putting Shri before Hiranyakashipu. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, actually Prahlad was already convinced about the Lord's appearance everywhere. The purpose of Narasimha Dev's appearance was not to convince Prahlad Maharaj. The purpose of Narasimha Dev's appearance was to convince whom? Yeah. Because in Prahlad Maharaj's heart he had already appeared. So the main purpose of the incarnation is to convince Hiranyakashipu. Therefore Hiranyakashipu becomes the main reason for the appearance of Narasimha Deva. Therefore Sri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha. This same Hiranyakashipu, he was performing a lot of austerities and he gained a lot of position in the universe. Hiranyakashipu started his own kingdom, his own organization to promote his own bhakti, dear devotees. And this was not a national organization. This was not an international organization. This was an interplanetary organization which took over all the planets and promoted Hiranyakashipu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very soon, all his associates would go to the demigods, put a sword on their throats and say, can you tell us who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And they were afraid for their lives, so they have to say, yes, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu thought he had become an adhikari. You can see here on the slide, adhikari. Dear devotees, what is the meaning of adhikari? Adhikari means great authority or leader within the universe. But our commentators say, anybody who thinks he is adhikari, big authority. Krishna also says, yes, you are adhikari. But what is the meaning of adhikari that Krishna takes? The meaning of adhikari that Krishna takes is adhika, great, ari, enemy. So somebody may be thinking, Hiranyakashipu was thinking, I am adhikari. And Krishna was thinking, yes, you are adhika, great, ari, enemy. And therefore, it is needed to answer Hiranyakashipu in his own language. Somebody needs to answer Hiranyakashipu in the language that Hiranyakashipu understands. And Hiranyakashipu understands only one language. That is the language of pride. So sometimes when Hiranyakashipu would ask Prahlad Maharaj to speak something, Prahlad Maharaj would speak in the same tone that Hiranyakashipu spoke. This, dear devotees, is the humility of Prahlad Maharaj. Humility does not mean that in front of ruffians we should bow down. That is not humility. Humility means that we should know how to give a befitting reply to a ruffian. Sri Hanuman was very humble in front of Sri Ram. Very humble. But he showed his humility also in front of Ravan. And Hanuman's humility was shown in front of Ravan by burning the entire Lanka. Hiranyakashipu in his next life became Ravan. So the same characteristics were carried forward, dear devotees. And Hiranyakashipu met Prahlad and Ravan met Hanuman. And both of them were deniers of Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ravan had absolutely no faith in Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Hanuman was sent to give him a good message. Good lesson is needed. Do you agree, dear devotees? Such people need a good message in a language that they understand. So Hanuman was sent to Lanka and they tried to capture Hanuman. Hanuman destroyed the entire Ashok Vatika. The entire forest within Lanka was destroyed by Hanuman single-handedly. Then finally, when nothing worked, then they used Brahmastra, a weapon of Lord Brahma, to capture Hanuman. And Hanuman, out of respect and Shraddha, faithfulness towards Brahmastra, agreed to become bound in the Brahmastra. Then they brought Hanuman in front of Ravan. And Ravan saw this monkey.
And Brahmastra appeared like a very ordinary rope, very tiny ordinary rope. Ravan thought, how can this strong monkey be bound by a tiny ordinary rope of Brahmastra? So he ordered his servants, hey, bring metal chains to bind him. So as soon as the Brahmastra saw that my potency has been doubted upon, the Brahmastra gave way. The Brahmastra loosened itself. And dear devotees, would Hanuman be ever bound up by any iron shackles after Brahmastra? Absolutely no. So, this is the effect of disbelief, ashraddha. And same ashraddha, disbelief is also in Hiranyakashipu's heart. Hiranyakashipu, he is the person who has absolutely no faith in Bhagavan. He is an atheist. But our Prahlad Maharaj is the personification of the 9 types of bhakti. Because dear devotees, who is the devotee who spoke about the 9 types of bhakti? Prahlad Maharaj. He is the one who gave us this verse. And this is the verse, dear devotees, please repeat after me. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. Shravanam, hearing about Vishnu. Kirtanam Vishnu, and performing glorification of whom? Vishnu. The same term Vishnu gets applied to all the other terms. Smaranam, remembrance of whom? Vishnu. Pada Sevanam, serving lotus feet of whom? Vishnu. Archanam, deity worship of Vishnu. Vandanam, glorification of Vishnu. Dasyam, servitude of Vishnu. Sakhyam, friendship of Vishnu. Atmanivedanam, complete surrender unto Vishnu. He is the Acharya, but Prahlad Maharaj is specifically the Acharya of one of these 9 processes. And which is that? Smaranam. Says who? Says Srila Rupa Goswami. In the Padyavali and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami lists 9 Acharyas of 9 processes. Shri Vishnu Shravane Parikshida Bhavad Vaiyasaki Kirtane Prahlad Smarane Tadangri Bhajane Lakshmi Prithu Pujane. Shri Vishnu Shravane. In the process of Shravan, there was one Acharya. Who is he? Parikshit Maharaj. Vaiyasaki Kirtane. In Kirtan, there was one Acharya. Who is that? Vaiyasaki, the son of Vyas. Shukadev Goswami is the Acharya of Kirtan. Prahlad Smarane. And who is the Acharya of Smaran? Prahlad. So Prahlad is an Acharya for all of us, dear devotees. Why? Because we are also intimately connected to Smaran, remembrance. How are all of us connected to Smaran? Because all of us belong to the society whose very name contains Smaran. Which society do we belong to? ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. International Society for Smaran, remembrance of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Prahlad is the Acharya of Smaran. Today we speak about Shri Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad was so confident after he received his instructions from Narad Muni. Prahlad gradually started seeing Bhagavan everywhere. And when Prahlad started seeing Bhagavan everywhere, because he was constantly absorbed in Smaran, Prahlad achieved the stage of Samadhi. What is Samadhi? Sri Jiva Goswami says, Dhyaya matra spuranam samadhi. When one can only see one's worshipable Lord everywhere in the universe, that stage is known as Samadhi. And Prahlad Maharaj then started answering Hiranyakashipu. When Hiranyakashipu saw Prahlad Maharaj for the first time after he had enrolled in Gurukul, Hiranyakashipu asked, Prahlad, how are you? Prahlad, can you teach me something that you have learnt in your Gurukul? Yes, I will teach you. Prahlad, as if giving a very cracking reply to Hiranyakashipu, spoke immediately. Please repeat after me. Yo vai sarvopanishadam artha purusha ishvara tam vai sarvagatam vishnum namaskritva bravimite. Oh dear father, I will speak to you, but before I speak to you, Vishnum namaskritva, I first offer my obeisances to Vishnu. My goodness. Before you speak anything to me, you are offering obeisances to Vishnu. What have you learnt? Don't you know who you are speaking in front of? Prahlad, choose your words carefully. I can chastise you very nicely, Prahlad. Verbally and if required physically, I will chastise you. Prahlad Maharaj smiled and looked into his eyes. And Prahlad Maharaj exhibited his humility once again, dear devotees. Shasta Vishnur Asheshasya Jagato yo hridi sthita tamrite paramatmanam tatakah kena shasyate. Tat, oh dear father, Shasta Vishnur Asheshasya. Vishnu is the chastiser of everyone in the universe. What are you speaking about? See the humility of Prahlad Maharaj. Sometimes such humility is needed. It was long overdue. Somebody needed to answer Hiranyakashipu in his own language. Shasta Vishnur Asheshasya. Vishnu is the chastiser of all living entities. Jagato yo hridi sthita. And that Vishnu is situated in my heart. Devoid of his permission, you will not be able to chastise anybody. That's a direct threat to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu then said, Acha, who is this Vishnu in front of me? I am your father, Prahlad, don't forget, I am your father. Prahlad said, but you should not forget that somebody is your father. Na kevalam tat mama prajanam sa brahma bhuto bhavatascha Vishnu dhata vidhata parameshwarascha prasida kopam kurushe kimartham. Oh Father, He is creator and maintainer of not only me, but also you, as well as your entire kingdom, including all these demons whose strength you are relying upon. Why are you uselessly getting angry? Kopam kurushe kim, why are you getting angry, O Father? See the tone in which Prahlad is replying to Hiranyakashipu. It was long overdue, dear devotees. Sometimes we read Shastra, but sometimes we should read Shastra in the mood with which the statements were spoken. Hiranyakashipu gets further angry. Hiranyakashipu says, what nonsense has entered into your mind, Prahlad? Prahlad says, not nonsense. Please hear what has entered into my mind. Na kevalam mad hridayam sa Vishnu akramya lokan akhilan avasthitah. Not nonsense, but Vishnu has entered my heart. Not only my heart, but also your heart. Not only your heart, but everyone's heart, Vishnu has entered. Narasimha Dev was right there waiting within Prahlad Maharaj's heart, waiting for that one opportunity. Hiranyakashipu said, Prahlad, I think your teachers have not taught you correctly. I'll give you one last chance. Prahlad was sent back to the Gurukul. Prahlad came back after a few months. Hiranyakashipu asked him, Oh Prahlad, what did you learn? Kachit putra ka ghiyatam. Dear son, tell me what you have learnt. Prahlad again began his Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. Please repeat. Sano Vishnu prasidatu. May Vishnu be pleased on all of us. Arey, how much anti-authority will you be, Prahlad? What sort of nature is this? Then Hiranyakashipu immediately called all the demons and said, kill him with all your sharp weapons. I don't want to see him live. Prahlad, even at that moment, defiant. Prahlad said, Vishnu shastreshu yushmasu Mai chasau vyavasthita Daite yastena satyena Makramantva yudhani me Daitayas, O demons, Vishnu Shastreshu, Vishnu is within your weapons. Yushmasu, not only your weapons, he is within you. Mai Chasau, and he is within me. Vyavastitaha, this is a fact. Daitayas, O demons, Tena Satyena, because of this truth. Makramantu ayudhani me, your weapons will never be able to harm me. Looked directly in their eyes and said this statement. They tried everything. But for the first time, their weapons would not work against Prahlad. Supreme confidence in Bhagavan and 100% attitude to give a befitting reply to his own father who is walking against the path of dharma. See the confidence with which Prahlad Maharaj is speaking statements. Thereafter, Hiranyakashipu decided, I will myself end his life. But before that happened, devotee poets say that Narasimha Dev appeared from the pillar. And there is a very nice poetic verse. Different poets, they glorify the appearance of Narasimha Dev differently. Dear devotees, would you like to relish a verse regarding the appearance of Narasimha Dev? Yes. Would you like to hear the final words of Hiranyakashipu? We will hear in the verse directly. Hiranyakashipu's final moments are described by a devotee poet in a verse. This verse is in a slightly long meter. The name of the meter is Srakdhara. I will break it in parts and sing. Please sing after me. Kim kim simhastatah kim Narasadrisha vapur deva chitra grihito Chitra Naitadrikvapi jivo Bhutam upanayame deva samprapta esha Ayame deva samprapta. Here Hiranyakashipu's words. Chapam chapam cha chapi ahahahaha karkashatvam nakhanam Itham daitendra vaksha Khara nakhara mukhair jagnivanyah savovya. So this describes, suddenly some servants came running. Hiranyakashipu asked, Kim, what is it, what is it? The servants replied, Simha, O Lord, it is a lion. Hiranyakashipu says, Tatah kim, so what? Servant said, Nara sadrisha vapur, deva chitra grihito, O Lord. He is not only a lion, he has also the form of a human being. I have never seen such a wonderful form. Naitadrik kwapi jivo. He is not an ordinary living entity. Adbhutam, very wonderful. Hiranyakashipu says, Upanayame, bring him here. Servant says, Deva samprapta esha, no need of bringing him here. He is already coming here. You don't need to give him a separate invitation. He has RSVP'd his presence already for today's assembly. Hiranyakashipu says, Chapam, chapam means bow. Chapam, chapam, bring my bow, bow, cha, 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 cha. By that time, he's already caught in Narasimha. Oh my goodness, karkashatvam nakhanam. The nails, they are tearing me apart. These were the last words. Itham daitendra vaksha. In this way, the chest of the king of demons was pierced by Kharanakharamukhair, by the sharp nails of Narasimhadev. Jagnivan, may that Narasimhadev bestow auspiciousness upon all of you, dear devotees. Would you like to hear another verse about Narasimhadev? Some acharyas say that there was a good fight between Narasimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. So, before the final moments, one particular devotee describes a very funny incident that occurred. This verse is in the meter Prithvi, a very unique meter. I'll try to sing. Please repeat after me. Vapur dalan sambhramat svanakharam pravishteri Vapur dalan sambhramat svanakharam pravishteri Kvayat iti vismayat prahitalochana sarvata. Kvayat iti vismayat prahitalochana sarvata. Vritedi kartadanam nipatitam purodanavam. Vritedi kartadanam nipatitam purodanavam. Niriksha bhuvirenu vajjayati jat haso hari. Shabhuvirenu vajjayati jat haso hari. Vapura dalana sambhravat. Suddenly both of them are fighting. Hiranyakashipu becomes afraid that now I will be killed. Sambhramat, he becomes afraid. Svanakharam pravishte. Hiranyakashipu assumes a very tiny form and enters into the nails of Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev says, Kvayat, are, where did he go? He was here right now. I was about to kill him. My purpose of incarnation was to kill him, but he is hiding in the nails of Narasimhadev out of fear. Prahita lochana sarvata. With his eyes, he is looking everywhere. Where has he gone? Couldn't find Hiranyakashipu anywhere. Narasimhadev says, oh no. That. Suddenly somebody falls out from his hand. Karatadanam. He banged his hand against the pillar. That my purpose was failed. Suddenly somebody fell out. Renuvat. Like a tiny particle of dust, somebody fell from his nails. Jayati jataha. So our Narasimhadev started laughing loudly. May that Narasimhadev be victorious in all the worlds and ensure auspiciousness for you, dear devotees. So, dear devotees, today is appearance day of Sri Narasimhadev. He appears just during this time, dusk. Just during this time he appears. Does Narasimhadev appear during this time? Yes. Which time zone? Eastern time? Pacific time? Or Indian Standard Time? Because if it is Indian Standard Time, he will be 2 hours late, dear devotees. Indian Standard Time is running late, Prabhu, always. Your name, Prabhuji? Akhiladhara Prabhu. Which time zone does Narasimhadev appear in? Hey, we are celebrating according to Chicago time. Is it the correct time? Yes. Then why are devotees in India not celebrating at this point of time? So, our acharyas have explained. Actually, Bhagavan is appearing at this point of time. He also appears at some other point of time. He is appearing constantly. When Krishna appears, Sri Shukadev Goswami says, Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhashaya Avirasid Yatha Prachyam Dishindur Iva Pushkalah. Krishna appeared from Devaki's womb just like moon appears in the eastern horizon. Akhiladhar Prabhu, just like moon appears in the... Is the moon constantly rising? Some place on planet Earth, the moon is constantly rising. Right? Similarly, some universe in the material world, Krishna is appearing right now. Some other universe, Matsya Dev is appearing right now. Some other universe, Varaha Dev is appearing right now. And some other universe, who is appearing right now? So he is appearing right now in Chicago time during dusk. But we are not staying in that location. We are in Chicago. But it is most important that on this day, Bhagavan should appear within the corridors of our heart. All the acharyas pray for appearance within the heart. See all the songs of the acharyas. Mama mana mandire. Prabhuji, why not Mama Nayana Mandire? Why Mama Mana Mandire? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochane. They will sing during Abhishek. Santah Sadaiva Hridayeshu. They should be Nayaneshu, Prabhu. Was something written incorrectly? It should be eyes. The saintly people see Bhagavan through their eyes or through their heart, Prabhu. Through their heart. And Narasimha Dev is appearing right now in the hearts of the dedicated devotees. So dear devotees, may Sri Narasimha Dev appear today within the corridors of the hearts of all of you. With this prayer, I wish all of you a very happy Sri Narasimha appearance, Sri Hiranyakashipu disappearance day 2022. Dear devotees, it is Shishta Parampara, it is the tradition of previous great acharyas that all credit should be given to one's Gurujanas. So, whatever I spoke, if there was any mistake, yadatra skhalitam kinchit, if there was any mistake, kindly correct that mistake, kindly do not mind my errors. But if there was anything nice, it belongs to my Gurujanas, one of whom is sitting right next to me, my Shiksha Guru. All the Prabhupada disciples are my Shiksha Guru, so it belongs to them. So Maharaj is also my Shiksha Guru. He is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I offer whatever nice was there in the presentation to Maharaj. Thank you so much, Maharaj. It belongs to you. It belongs to all of you. All of you are also my Shiksha Gurus. It belongs also to all of you. May nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So is that the conclusion, or is there time for?
Yeah, he's going to make some announcements.
Okay.
Thank you very much, His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj, and our special guest here, His Grace Hariparasad Prabhu, for enlightening us this evening, especially the last part of your conversation about making sure that we pray the Lord appears in the core of our heart. So thank you for that. Now, after the talk here, we will be approaching outside, not in the corridor because you'll probably see Narasimha Dev there, but for prasadam. That is another form of Narasimha Dev we will receive today through Krishna prasadam. So please make your way out. There will be prasad served in boxes, and there will be some kirtan going on. After you take your prasadas, you can come here for a few minutes for kirtan. Thank you very much.
Can I say something, Prabhu?
Sure. Bro.
Hare Krishna. Please hear. Today is Narasimha Caturdasi. If you have taken any vows in this entire year, especially vows for donation, please make sure you complete your vows of donation. Otherwise, we'll write down your names and give to Narasimha Dev. So dear devotees, today is a good day for offering donations. There are a lot of good donation options mentioned there. Please have a look at the poster there. There are many donation options. Today is a very good day for offering dan. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
And also tomorrow we have this special Sunday feast. His Holiness Romapada Swami Maharaj will be here along with Hariparasad Prabhu. They will be speaking tomorrow evening, 5:30 to 6:30. So please come. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
When Hiranyakashipu and Lord Vishnu were fighting, and then when Lord Vishnu cut Hiranyakashipu and put it in his lap, did he die instantly or he suffered first?
No, he ripped apart his chest.
So he had died.
Yeah, pulled out his intestines. Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't pronounce your name correctly.
No, it's okay. That name is also good. Hariprasad is also very good.
I was thinking you.
लास्ट इस वीक है ना हाँ पता है मुझे आप थोड़ा मुझे थोड़ा पहले एक हफ्ता पहले भेज दोगे आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग मुझे आना है नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम पर आई वांटेड टू कम टू विजिट आई नो आई वांटेड टू आई वाज ट्रैवलिंग दैट डे नाउ द नेक्स्ट कैसा हेल्थ है आपका to see a lot of policy.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu अबे बचाओ I haven't sang in a while. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Prahlad Daine Prahlad Daine Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Hito Nisimho Parato Nisimho Hito Nisimho Parato Nisimho yato yato yami tato nisimho. Yato yato yami tato nisimho. Bahe nisimho hridaye nisimho. Bahe nisimho hridaye nisimho. Narasimha madim sharanam prapade. Narasimha madim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamalavare nakhamadhuta shinga. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa. Keshavadita narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara kamalavare Dalita Tavakara kamalavare nakhamadhuta shinga. Dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringa. Keshavadita narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Narasimhadev, 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 Jaya Narasimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Hai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Kavi or Madhva, one of you two, please. Whichever one. I like this.